Hello everybody. In this video, I'll be discussing time frame alignments alongside with a few other things that are going to be used to utilize these time frame alignments. So we'll first start off with some foundational information that will be covered within this video. Start off with ICT and MXM. Second off, QT alignments. And lastly, the implementation of those two together. So understand before utilizing time frame alignments. ICT and QT. So the same time frame alignments that ICT gave in its core content are the ones used for MMXM models and QT. All of these time frames align together to give you the true understanding of the higher time frame and lower time frame correlation. Now, people are going to think, oh, you're using the same model or it's the same alignments for the MMXM and QT. No, it's a little bit different, but they do work together, which is why I said that they're pretty much not the same, but they work in tangent. ICT, I would consider the pioneer of time frame alignments. He's the one who released the MMXM alignments and gave everybody the foundation of the time frames you guys should be looking at in correlation to each other, right? 4 hour 15, 1 hour 5, 15-minute 1. ICT was a pioneer. QT or Day was the refiner of that. Right? He refined all that understanding and allowed everybody to go ahead and really grasp the correlation between the higher time frame and the lower time frame. He gave the community a fractal sense of price. QT, right? Each cycle is given a specific time frame which you utilize to spot sequential SMT, hidden sequential SMT, PSPs, swing divergence, open close divergences, all that stuff, right? Each cycle has its purpose, the same way each time frame within the ICT MMXM model has its purpose, right? So, understanding alignments, right? First off, you have the MMXM, the 4 hour to the 15, the 1 hour to the 5, and the 15-minute to the 1. A lot of you guys might be confused about this, of how we're going to implement these alignments, but it's not that difficult to understand. These are the time frame alignments for the MMXM models, right, or model. You look at the higher time frame PD array and then look at the lower time frame entry model on the correlated time frame once the POI has been tapped into, right? So 4 hour PD array or 4 hour POI, you look at the 15-minute, right? 1 hour POI, 5-minute entry. 15-minute POI, 1-minute entry. When you're looking at quarterly theory, it's a little bit different. Monthly cycle, you look at the 4 hour. Weekly cycle, you look at the 1 hour. Daily cycle, you look at the 15-minute. 90-minute cycle, you look at the 5-minute. These are the cycle / time frame alignments for quarterly theory. Each cycle is given a specific time frame which you utilize to spot those sequential, hidden sequential, PSPs, swing divergences, open, close, all that stuff, right? Now, I'm going to reference this later on in the video because these two will be merged together. So, start to finish. Start. When you first open your charts, start off with anything above the 15-minute. Higher time frame observation, lower time frame refinement. Remember that your lower time frame will simply be used for entry, whilst your higher time frame will dictate where price is headed. Okay? So understand that you guys should not be going on the 1 minute immediately when you hop on a chart. Subconsciously, that structure, what you're viewing on the 1 minute, is going to alter what you think is going to happen next. You have to have the higher time frame in the back of your mind, or really at the forefront when you open your charts, to reference where price may go next. Planning. Piggybacking off what was mentioned before, your planning initiates on the higher time frame, looking for swing divergences, cracking correlations, sequential SMT, any type of thing that can really support a reversal or a redistribution. Right? Anything that helps you or can help you assist in forming a foundation of narrative is what you're going to be looking for. Okay? You are going to respect these time frame alignments the same way you respect your risk. Time frame alignments are part of your model. Do not exclude them. Your model may work on a certain time frame only because, or not a certain time frame, but a certain time frame window, right? So 15 minute, 1 minute, maybe the 4 hour and the 15 minute, right? I promise you, if you go on the 62 minute chart and the 160 minute chart, you're not going to find these setups occur the same way you do on the 5 and the 15. You have to follow the alignments. That's something that Day goes over religiously. If you don't follow the alignments, you are going to struggle. The alignments are the foundation of everything in your trading. If you break the alignments, nothing else will work. I promise you. Expectations. You shouldn't expect to understand this in one go nor in a few days. This is a different type of way of, or this is a different way of viewing these QT and MMXM alignments and putting them together. So it's going to be difficult to understand for a little bit. Many of you guys have an understanding of the time frame alignments and incorporate them within your trading. Meaning, if you come from an MMXM background, you already understand majority of these alignments. By majority, I mean half. If you come from a QT background, then you also know half. If you come from both, you know them very, very well. If MMXM involves AMD and QT involves AMDX, why not utilize the alignments given and put them together? The only thing QT has is an X and the N to then give it quarterly, to give it a quarterly aspect. That's all you're doing. The AMD is the same for both, right? So the basis of MMXM is AMD accumulation, manipulation, distribution. With quarterly theory, it's the same concept, just with an X to give it that quarterly aspect, right? And that, that cycle aspect of things, which you would then be utilizing to go ahead and find exactly in which periods or which cycles are we hosting distributions, manipulations, accumulations, so on and so forth. That's all it is. Now, finish. Once you have one PDA or one PD array that gets created or mitigated, you now have the ability to utilize a correlated lower time frame. You don't need to see a 1 hour PSP slash swing divergence if there is a weekly cycle sequential SMT. This is going to get a lot of hate. I'm going to get hate for this and I'm going to get shit on for this, but this is the truth, okay? You don't need to see a 1 hour PSP. I see many of you guys looking for a 1 hour PSP or a 1 hour swing divergence after having weekly cycle sequential SMT. That's not always going to be the case, right? If that's what you're looking for, you might not get an entry. That's just how it is. And I'm going to explain later exactly what I mean by that, okay? So, why do this? If there's one takeaway I want you guys to go ahead and have from this video, it's this. This slide is the meat and potatoes of the video, and I really want you guys to go ahead and really indulge in this and really look at this and refine this, because this is the most important part of this video, right? If you view every crack and correlation as a PD array, you now permit yourself the ability to use the lower time frame to identify slash confirm your point of entry and your higher time frame to lower time frame entry model. Okay? So here are some questions that are going to make you guys think of how you guys are going to be implementing these MMXM and QT alignments together. What time frame will you use if there is weekly cycle sequential SMT? What time frame is correlated to that given time frame? When do you first see reversals? These are three questions that are going to regarding these alignments and allow you to open the world of QT and MMXM alignments in conjunction with each other, right? So, what time frame will you use if there is weekly cycle sequential SMT? The 1 hour, correct? Okay. What time frame is correlated to that time frame given? Let's think about this for a second, right? You guys have to go from cycle to time frame alignment and time frame alignment to then time frame alignment. So the first thing you're going to be doing is looking from your QT to your time frame alignment. So quarterly, weekly cycle sequential SMT to your time frame alignment, the 1 hour time frame. Now you then go from time frame alignment to time frame alignment again. What time frame alignment is correlated to the time frame given? 1 hour. If you're looking at it as a POI or PD array, what's the lower time frame? The 5 minute. Okay. So the 5 minute is going to be your lower time frame, right? Then you're going to go from that back to quarterly. 5 minute. Okay, what's the correlated cycle for the 5 minute time frame? 90 minute. Bingo. So when do you first see reversals? You see them on a lower time frame, right? Meaning if you look for a 1 hour PSP, you're going to miss your entry, right? Or you might not even get it because the PSP might not even form. If you have a 1 hour swing divergence, right? Or a 1 hour PSP getting souped, right? Or a 1 hour PRC being souped, sorry, right? What do you have? What gets created in that range, right? You create a lower time frame cracking correlation, souping that PRC or PSP, hopefully, or souping that old high, hopefully, right? You have a 90-minute cycle sequential SMT get created with that cracking correlation at the highs, that swing divergence at the highs, which would then permit you to go on the 5 minute time frame and enter within that upper wick of that new hourly candle. Instead of you waiting for an hourly PSP, waiting for the closure, then waiting for a mitigation of the hourly wick and then continue off higher. And if you're usually waiting for an hourly wick, depending on the volatility of the day, you might be looking at a 30 to 40 point stop loss. Compared to the 5 minute, you can refine it from the 5 minute down to the one if you'd like as well, and get a sub 20 point stop loss if you'd like, right? So these are all ways that you can go ahead and implement this, right? So we'll redo this again to make you guys think about this over again one more time. What time frame will you use if there's weekly cycle sequential SMT? The 1 hour time frame. What's the lower time frame for the 1 hour? The 5 minute. What's the cycle attached to the 5 minute? The 90 minute. So with that 1 hour swing divergence that you can potentially have at the highs, you'd want to see 90-minute cycle sequential SMT form. And your 5 minute POI will be your entry. That's it. That's all it is, right? And you can refine it more to the 1 minute if you would like to. And there's another way of viewing this, and it's reverse engineering it, right? And I'm going to show you exactly how you do that in this next slide. So here you have three candles: down close, up close, down close, down close, down close. Why I'm creating the 4 hour PSP? 4 hour PSP, no sequential SMT at the lows, right? So if there's no sequential SMT at the lows supporting that bullish narrative, what are you going to be looking for, right? You have a 4 hour POI. So what's the lower time frame for the 4 hour POI? There's no sequential SMT. This is how you guys view this. This is how you're supposed to view this, right? To then go ahead and help you guys refine and actually look for entries that make sense, right? Oh, hey, there's a 4 hour PSP, but there's no multi-cycle sequential SMT. There doesn't need to be, right? 4 hour PSP at the lows, no daily cycle sequential SMT. That low is probably going to be mitigated by one asset. Now, what's the lower time frame for the 4 hour time frame? The 15-minute, right? So 4 hour POI or PDRA, 15-minute time frame, right? What's the correlated cycle to the 15-minute time frame? The daily cycle sequential SMT. So what do you have at the lows? 4 hour POI or 4 hour PSP, get souped, creating daily cycle sequential SMT. Now what do? You refine your entry. This is the 4 hour candle, low to high. We come back down, we hit OTE, internal low, discounted, the only discounted internal low right here, resting right with OTE, creating daily cycle sequential SMT, tapping into OTE of the range, right? So we go from 4 hour to 15-minute. Why? Because 4 hour POI, 15-minute lower time frame, and the cycle attached to the 15-minute is a daily cycle sequential SMT. You have daily cycle sequential SMT here at the lows, NQ and ESPL to mitigate, YM mitigates the low. We tap OTE. What's the correlated time frame for the 15-minute? Lower time frame, the 1 minute, right? Most of you guys are not going to be entering off the 15-minute soup. You'll be entering off of anything lower than that. So in this case, 15-minute, what are you looking for? 1 minute. So 1 minute, soup of internal low, closure above, creating an IFEG, long, back up to buy side, 400-point delivery. That's all this is. That's all this is. You are simply working QT and ICT MMXM alignments together and using them in conjunction with each other to go ahead and support a narrative and price. That's all you're doing. Do not overcomplicate this. Do not make it more difficult than what it already is. You are simply looking for higher time frame POIs, refining it to your QT alignments, and then refining it some more to get your entry. That's all you're doing. So I highly suggest you guys go back to the video on where I spoke about this and reverse engineer what I mentioned. And you can do that with whatever time frame you want or whatever alignment you want regarding the QT alignments. Daily cycle, 90-minute, weekly, 4 hour, monthly, whatever you want. Or let me rephrase that. 90-minute daily cycle, weekly cycle, monthly cycle. Anything you can do that, you can do it with this. Reverse engineering this with MMXM to then permit you to go on a lower time frame. It should all be structured. You shouldn't be saying, oh, weekly cycle, okay, 1 minute. Oh, no, we already hit the POI and I can go on the 1 minute. No, there's a structure towards it. So follow the structure and you'll be fine. All right? If there's any questions you guys may possibly have, feel free to go ahead and ask me through the chat or DM me privately. See you guys later.